Today I'll be interviewing former Welsh rugby international Christian Loader, who will be discussing about his career, which spanned for almost 15 years, how important education is within rugby union, and the current state of the game here in Wales. He started with the Whites. You know, what was that like in the early 90s?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I went training with a lot of different clubs. I went with Aberafan, Neath, Swansea, Connecticut, and it was Mike Ruddock down there who made me feel welcome, and the boys down there. So I ended up having the opportunity then to train with the Whites and eventually getting into the team.
And what were some of the highlights from your time at St Helens?
Highlights, obviously, getting into that first team. That was amazing. We won the Old Shreps Cup back in 1985 against Pontypridd. That was a great day, and just now games against Cardiff and Connecticut, and all good times.
And of course, you left Swansea to kind of go a bit more to the east side of Wales then later on.
Yeah.
Where did you go from there?
I went to Pontypridd. I had 2 fantastic years up there, and then from there I went down to Bridgend. Another couple of good couple of years down there, and then rugby was going down the regional route. What happened was then I had a contract offer from the Celtic Warriors. When I go and sign it, and it was a different contract, so I said thank you, but no thank you, and I ended up signing for Rotherham then. So I went up there, but when I got up there then, there was Kenneth Lewis, Jason Strange, Luke Ross, so it was a bit of a Welsh contingent up there as well then.
What was kind of last few weeks like, because you'd been pushing to finish as high in the league as you can, to get into the Heineken Cup as it was, and then all of a sudden that was it.
Yeah, we played out in Connaught on the Saturday and won, so we made the Heineken Cup, and then we had a phone call, can you go up to the Vale on Monday morning? I went up the Vale, and we were told by Steve Lewis then that the Celtic Warriors were going to be disbanded. Coaches from the other regions were in the next room, and if they want to do, they'll call through. If not, you can go.
Your thoughts on the Welsh game at the moment?
The boys up top are doing their best. There's no doubt about that. Nobody puts a jersey on to play badly. I do think they need to invest more at grassroots to see more development coming through. At top level, the coaching, perhaps they need a bit more, not diversity, but a bit more intricate for individual players, individual positions and stuff like that. But I just think at grassroots level and coming through youth and first team and community level and then stepping up, if you encourage more youngsters to go at the game, then we can push through again then. And
you mentioned there your injury right at the end of your career with Bath. How did that come about? What kind of happened?
Innocuous pre-season game down at Plymouth, rolling subs, going back on, back off. Just felt a little twinge in the neck and a bit of pain in the arm, and then just gradually got worse. Had a scan the next day, and he said, you've broken a bone in the neck and disc bulge, and so I had a couple of epidurals to see if that would fix it or settle it down. Didn't work, and then had to concede and have the operation and give up.
Because you'd have seen it from the Warriors days, how vital it is for young people to have that education. What advice would you kind of give to them, for anyone, a teenager who might be thinking they might have a good chance of maybe making an academy? What would your advice to be to them?
Go for it. Give it 110%. Train, work hard, but then you've got to work hard off the field as well. Get your studies done. Because you always need a qualification to fall back on. Fingers crossed, the boys make it and they go on to succeed and play rugby and enjoy and travel, but if they don't, or when they finish, they've at least got something to fall back onto.
And one aspect that you would have been particularly proud of as a former front row forward would have been the scrum, and of course that's taken a lot of change since the end of your playing career to now. And what was it like back then when you were playing?
It was like raging bulls going at each other, really, a bit of a car crash. But looking at it now, is more technique based. So I think they got it right. Now the sequence, the cadence of it, it's more technique based, but it's still a scrum and they can't go away from it. I don't know, if a team dominates a scrum, they'll want to win the game. So no, they can't take that out of the game.
A big thank you for Chris for taking his time out to speak to me today. It was a real insight to hear about his career, which spanned for over 15 years, his thoughts on the Welsh game and what areas that needed to be improved, and of course his time as a Welsh international and the importance of education for a young rugby player.